I don't know yet. Thanks! I'm alright. I'm alright. Am I alright? Yeah. Yeah, you feel alright? Yeah, quit looking at me like that.
Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I'm here to share a video, some advice with you if you're a serving individual within the military, a police officer, whether you were a paramedic or a fireman. And that is the importance of photography. It's so important. Today we're going to do a reaction to Hugh F McHugh, sounds rude almost, of a battlefield correspondent that lost his life in the Battle of the Bulge. And we're going to track some of the photography he did up to the last photo he took before he was taken out, shot through the face by a German sniper in Belgium. Okay. Just remember the Battle of the Bulge, it started like the 16th, I think it was, of December in 1944, and it went through that offensive into the 25th of January, the day before Australia Day, actually, in 1945, just prior to the actual war ending that year. So let's go into that now, and let's track it, and let us know what you think. As a question pops up below the screen, for example, like now, this is a cue for you to put a comment below on what you think about these situations. As a military member, my background, I've got so many great photos that could have, should have been taken to create a rendezvous point in time and history that were never taken. So let's track through this. I'll drop in some Easter eggs for you, and I hope you enjoy the last day of Hugh F McHugh. Let's go. First question for comments. If a photo or video is never taken, did it really happen? The photo is also the receipt. Yep. What you're seeing there right now on the screen has never happened, except for the fact that now it has, because you saw it on the actual video, you know, over 80 years, or 80 years to the day almost. So there you go. It happened because we can see it happen, right? Bringing history into the lounge room. Snafu Docs, subscribed.
During the final days of the Battle of the Bulge, 22-year-old US Army Signal Corps photographer Hugh Francis McHugh took these photographs as he followed the US 7th Armored Division in its advance on the Belgian town St. Vith. In this specific photograph, just taken outside of the town, we can see a soldier giving a final glimpse at the camera.
Rest in peace, Mr. McHugh.
The Battle of the Bulge was a German counter-offensive against American lines in the Ardennes sector in Belgium and Luxembourg. It started on December 16, 1944. It was intended to stop the Allied use of the Belgian port of Antwerp and to split the Allied lines, allowing the Germans to encircle.
Team, if we ever cease or cause a pause in the video, that is simply for copyright. So to make sure we get past that, this is a reaction video to some fantastic work that has been done, and we'll give credits to that in the comments below. So we've also got to take the photo and capture history in the moment. One day it will be worth a fortune in memories. Okay. And I'll follow that in a moment to advice to commanders and sub-commanders. Frog in the throat.
And destroy 4 Allied armies and force the Western Allies to negotiate a peace treaty in the Axis powers' favor. However, things did not go according to plan, a stubborn resistance from American troops all over the Ardennes front and the quick reaction by both British and American troops halted the advance. As a result, it formed a bulge in the Allied front lines. It wasn't until January 25, 1945 that the Battle of the Bulge was officially over and the American front lines were close to being restored to its original state of December 16, 1944.
Could you imagine serving in these battlefields, where you've come from somewhere, maybe Texas, and now I'm fighting in the snowfields of Belgium? How do you get used to that, where there's no expiry date, exit date, there's no bookend to when the war is going to be over? But could you imagine how many rumors these men heard? Just one more week, we're almost there, one more month, it's done. Yeah. It is terrible when you're overseas and you don't know when the exit date is.
Hugh Francis McHugh was a 20-year-old student from New York City when he was drafted into the US Army in 1943.
Drafted, yep. So that means he wasn't a volunteer team. This is also something in the US now for only men, which it is a legality. They must actually get themselves recognized on the ballot, their details. Otherwise, it's a criminal offense. Yep.
We cannot really tell whether he was assigned to become a combat photographer or signed up to be a combat photographer for the US Army Signal Corps. His personnel records were burned in the fire at the archives in 1973. What we do know is that he was assigned to the 165th Signal Photographic Company in July of 1944, after the unit had landed in Normandy. The 165th Signal Photographic Company was part of the US First Army, and it was McHugh's job to take photographs of its units on the front lines.
Wouldn't you love your job? Just to be Johnny on the spot or McHugh on the spot, catching those candid moments when people don't know, don't care that you've got a camera in your hand, where you actually get to tell the narrative from the lens of a camera. Amazing.
Today we're going to honor him by walking in his footsteps as we trace the locations in the photographs that he took on his last day.
There's going to be a lot of before and after shots here, which will show a photo similar to what's happening there, and now show that building right now as people are carrying on their day as per usual, now that peace is in the streets, so to speak.
So we're here in the town of St. Vith, Belgium, which played an important role during the Battle of the Bulge. The reason why we're here is that on January 23, 1945, Hugh F McHugh took this photograph of some troops of the 7th Armored Division here in St. Vith. We can see a Sherman tank and we can see some buildings in the back. So what we can see here is the buildings in front of us. We can see the corner there.
Sorry to keep pausing it. Could you imagine having al fresco dining there, having your breakfast, and on the wall a full image of the exact spot you're sitting in during that time of chaos, okay, with the tank outside, with the forces on the ground, okay, ready for battle, and then the duplicity that here you are in peace, knowing that in exactly the same spot, chaos used to reign. It'd be an amazing moment to immerse yourself in.
Of the bakery, which is not here in the photograph because it was not built, but everything else is still, the houses are still the same structure, but of course the windows changed a little bit, but the balcony is still the correct spot, and these are still correct. This building here is most significant with how it looks today. And if you follow me, I can show you why it matches, because here in the street of St. Vith, they actually have old photographs visible in the town, and we have a signpost here. This is even an older picture from the 1920s, in which we can see the building and the facade. Everything here matches up with the door.
So much history. Where you're watching this from, has war touched the streets in which you live now? Conflict? Imagine the Ukraine now being a battlefield photographer there. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, but it would be crazy good.
Door, the balcony, and that is why we were able to actually confirm that it was actually this building, even though it changed a lot in 2023, of course, that this is the correct spot where the tank and the guys are sitting in the streets. So this is incredible. Here in the footsteps of Hugh F McHugh.
How good is that? The best and timeless photos that evoke emotion normally always come from chaos, misery, and happening real time as there is no acting, posing, or staging. That speaks for itself. There's no one who is trying to get the multiple chins out of the camera. There's no, what would we say, fake emotion. It's all candid. It's all real. Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite photography. Awesome.
2 days after taking this photograph, the 23rd Armored Infantry Battalion of the 7th Armored Division approached the village of Wallerode, just northeast of St. Vith. Hugh Francis McHugh was assigned to take photographs of the unit together with motion picture cameraman Irvin D. Coos.
That will become more apparent after, as he is wounded at the same time as what McHugh loses his life. He was a videographer and McHugh was a still photographer.
So we have an incredible photograph here of troops of the 23rd Armored Infantry Battalion, 7th Armored Division, taken by Hugh Francis McHugh, who was covering the advance of that battalion on January 25, 1945, together with his buddy Irvin D. Coos. Now, as you can see, there are some interesting features on the photograph: a barn in the back, a tower in the back, and the earth wall on the right. And we actually have this guy who's cutting the wire on the right. There's still a fence today. We have some more incredible details on the photograph. As I said, the tower, but also the tree visible in the back.
Does that tree, is it just me, or does that look like the tree had a poltergeist?
Is currently still standing there, obviously much bigger as it's 79 years later. And it's just, wow, look at it. The photograph is amazing, and we're standing right there. We're now walking in the footsteps of these guys and in the footsteps of Hugh Francis McHugh.
Amazing.
So let me take a then and now photograph.
What a beautiful contrast too, that he's getting to take this photo in autumn while the photo of 1945 was taken during winter, to show the contrast of that actual location. Absolutely amazing. Some of the areas I was at, living in Portuguese forts in Asian countries, to be in religious sites of Africa, to be at the Battle of Romani, okay, between the Australians, New Zealanders and the Turks. Crazy. The camera that I had, unfortunately, climbing the hills, the sand dunes of Romani, got sand in the bezel and it ruined the camera. And then ultimately the camera with the SD cards was stolen by some jippo who was bloody cleaning our accommodation. So I lost all of the photography I took.
All right, it's time to meet up with the owner of the castle. He's going to be able to help us to find the location of where Hugh Francis McHugh took his final photograph.
Carl van Frubus lives in the castle down the road. 2 years ago he organized an exposition about our photographer Hugh Francis McHugh and might be able to help us to find the exact location of his final photograph.
Meneer van Frubus.
Meneer Van Missen,
Goeiedag. Hallo, wat een mooie plek. Volgens mij kunt u mij wat vertellen over McHugh.
Ja, dit is die plaats waar McHugh een uur voor zijn overleden geweest is. Hij heeft hier meerdere foto's gepakt en heeft daar zijn laatste foto genomen voor hen van een Duitse scherpschütse sniper doodgeschoten was. Ja, in het principe is het hier begonnen.
Mr. van Frubus renovated his horse stable in 2020 when he discovered the American names that were inscribed on the wall.
How incredible is that? When you ask someone to sell a property in Belgium or in France or even Germany, etc., could you imagine someone actually saying to you, how much do you think the place is worth, when you look at, for example, Vermel's, and look at how much bloodshed happened on the land that you own, and think it is priceless? It'd be hard to give up. These signatures, instead of cleaning them off the wall, they are a moment of time where real people said, I was here, and he's maintained it. This gentleman, he understood the relevance of it and he kept it. Well done, sir. Well done.
Ik zie Nelson Hall, Lepley Porter.
Ik heb Ja, ik heb eerst gedacht dat het de familienaam was en de voornaam. Maar dat is niet zo. Ieder naam is een familienaam.
Ah, oké.
Zo. En als je zum Beispiel Nelson en Hall, dat zijn namen die komen in de Amerikaanse armee 19.000, 20.000 maal voor. Heb je geen kans te vinden iets te vinden. Maar we hebben kans gehad. Die naam Gizi was alleen 7 keer in de Amerikaanse armee. En dan hebben ze uitgesloten. Want de ene was in Pacific, die andere was bij de Airborne. En dan zijn ze dan uitsluitend in het einde bij Vern Gizi gebleven. En ze hebben de dochter van die Gizi gevonden. En die heeft hem...
So a photo also becomes an heirloom. Could you imagine taking the photo of someone's father or mother in action, doing their role, whether that was a paramedic, police officer, fire brigade, Army, Air Force, Navy, whatever the context was. But then you pass a candid photo to that family so that they have the actual action, that their father or their mother isn't just someone who's now overweight, sits in a lounge chair, watches YouTube, and sometimes is met with contempt. You see that they used to be someone special once. Yeah, very important. One of the best gifts you can give is a photo.
Verteld dat Gizi in Europa was bij een anti-aircraft division. En dan hebben ze gevonden wat dat voor een uniteit was. En zo zijn ze dan hier naar Wallenrode gekomen.
Ah, en dit is Vern.
Ja, dat is deze, juist.
Bijzonder, bijzonder.
Mr. von Frübus stumbled upon the photographs of Hugh Francis McHugh as he was researching the names on the wall. As a native of Wallerode, he was able to locate where his photographs were taken. Today, he is going to take us to the place where Hugh McHugh took his final photograph.
Awesome.
Ja, deze foto is van de...
Again, copyright. Guys, I was written down there, if you were serving a police officer, fireman, or paramedic, always take the lens and ready. And remember, the photo is timeless. The penalty for taking it is short term. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes when you go to take a photo, the context of why you took the photo can be misunderstood because of the emotion that is playing out at the time. But in time, while that time is timeless, people are going to want to come back and they're going to want that photo. You know, you can know it might be a little bit insensitive at the time to capture that photo because of the pain and the grief that is occurring right now. But if you can safely get that photo to create that rendezvous in time so that when people see it, especially yourself, you can recall a story, a happening of what happened in history, then it may be extremely valuable in memories, as we stated before. Get the photo, cop the ass kicking, but then treasure the photo and make sure you get it developed or framed, because that's when it becomes real.
Boven gepakt uit die venster. En dan heb je een overzicht. En die andere foto is meer nabij gepakt. Maar die panzer die was daar beneden, van beneden naar boven.
So we have this incredible photo of a burning Panzer, German tank, and the barn is right here in front of us. The photo was taken from the window in that building over there, but unfortunately we cannot enter the houses. There's people living there, but we can see the church of Wallerode in the background. And we see a burning Panzer, and it's taken right here. Perhaps we can get a better view.
You can see the destruction from the house here.
Oh yeah. One of the photos taken by McHugh on his last day. Huh.
Ja, het moest zo gepakt zijn, het foto, zoiets.
Like that. Wow, look at the photo of the Panzer tank, German tank, that is in the corner of the building. We saw the previous photo where we saw the burning Panzer right here in the corner of this house. Now we're standing at the bottom, and boom, we have a close look.
Great photo.
A close-up shot. And so yeah, this is just the same building that we saw in the previous photo, the same burning tank, but a close-up shot of it, and another photo taken by Hugh McHugh.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful photo. Shocking.
So we just came from the road where the pictures were taken with the soldiers walking down that hill. And now, because McHugh, after he took those photos, he came back here, went around up the hill, because the soldiers were going down to Waller Road from that hill. So what we're doing now, Mr. von Frubus is going to take us to the final location where the last photograph was taken of McHugh.
Look at that. That photo, if you didn't know what it was about, it has so much context. It'd almost be, what is that soldier on the left thinking as he looks back from a depth position? Who's he looking at? Is he looking at the commander? Is he looking at the signalman who's got a camera in his hand? Is he looking at a guy maybe that's named Hugh F McHugh? It is crazy. These guys are on a knee, which means the danger is clear and present. They're clearly in a depth position for those that understand what they're looking at. And it looks like there's an assault actively going on as we're watching, which we now know is the case.
And we're going to try and reconstruct the photo with today.
Wow.
Die huizen daar, die existeerden niet.
Ja.
En dan heb je hebt de kerk juist hier zo. En die mestplaats hier, die heb ik nog gekend, die was hier.
Ah.
Kijk, en wij dachten eerst, het was meer boven.
Ja, ja.
Maar die mestplaats hier, achter bovenuit is geen mestplaats meer
geweest.
Die was hier. En zo het plaats van dat foto is exact hier.
Wauw.
Maar die boom is deze daar.
Wauw.
En hier heb je een stroomleiding.
Ja.
Die gaat naar beneden naar dat huis, maar die existeert niet meer. Ja. Die is weggenomen worden in die 80e jaar. Ja. En dat is exact hier waar dat foto gepakt is.
And wow, this matches up. We walked all around.
Bam. When I started to watch this, the irony is that horse is almost looking back at us like that soldier on the left was. So it's almost like we're standing in the exact position where Hugh F McHugh had lost his life and was shot in the face by the German sniper. So it's like that horse is actually manifested into a position to represent that soldier that was on the left. I don't know if that's just me being a weirdo, but that's what it looks like to me.
Went all around Waller Road, but we could not match it up with the terrain, and this is actually where we can match it up. So the guys that came just around from the little castle came back here. I mean, McHugh came back here, and now he's advancing with the guys from the 23rd Armored Infantry Battalion, boom, down to Waller Road. And shortly after taking this photograph, this guy is watching him. McHugh got hit by a sniper bullet in the face, was instantly killed.
So that's the last picture he took?
This is the last picture that he took.
I wonder what that soldier that was on the left-hand side, what he did when he heard the crack of the round and the thump of that round hitting 7.62, probably from a Mauser, hitting McHugh in the face. You would have realised no one is safe here, wouldn't you? You've seen it all, because McHugh was the only person, the photographer, to lose their life during the Battle of the Bulge as well. Interesting fact.
Shortly after taking this photo, McHugh was hit by a sniper bullet in the face, instantly killed. And Koos, the motion picture cameraman, retrieved his camera.
Yeah, exact.
Wow.
And by this action, he was by the same sniper. He was bullet, and he was by the colleagues was taken and they goes in the hospital.
Okay, yeah. So he was taken to the rear and transferred, taken to the hospital.
So the videographer was hit as well by the same sniper. I wonder if they got him. I wonder if that became a story from a sniper in time to come to his family about the time he took out the press crew. CNN, fake news.
And that is how McHugh's pictures were saved and published many years later, and still today are visible for many people that are interested in World War II and study the Battle of the Bulge, they can now see his photographs.
This is an iconographic photo from the World War II.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Tim, I was at the Canberra War Memorial yesterday for Australia Day, and it was a beautiful honour to be able to go there and see the photos on the wall, the real faces of the people that represented us, the best of the best, all of them volunteers, and just see those moments captured in time where there's no bias. There's photos of Germans, there's photos of Japanese as well. There's photos of the nurses. War is a tragedy. It is. But it should be captured. It should be retold with all its warts, because if you don't learn from these problems, it happens again. Hence what we're seeing across the world now, some of the same religion attacking each other. Go make sense of it.
So too. And we're right here.
Bam. See what I mean there? Look at that horse is in the same spot as that guy, the second soldier on the left. It's like he's reincarnated as an animal. Amazing. So well done. I bet we're going to McHugh's grave. Wow. I like that touch. People who aren't enemies now, despite the fact they were then, been brought together in sacrifice. I love that. Let's leave that there, actually. What I might do is put up a couple of photos, potentially, of that I took on operational service in a moment, but understand that photography, because of OPSEC security, was frowned upon during my military career. I totally recommend, where are we? With this advice to commanders and sub-commanders, that you choose people from within your call sign, give them a brief on what the parameters are of can't be taken, etc., out of disrespect for the dead or whatever. And when you go overseas, or even on operations or training for operations, that you allocate people to be photographers based on volunteer status that can capture those candid moments, whether it be in the jungle, whether it be in the desert, whether it be in the field environment or urban, or on ships, in helicopters, within the vehicle agencies, inside the back of an armored vehicle, with the sun rays coming in and a bit of blood on someone's forehead from training hard. Capture those moments. And then at the end of the year, make an album, a calendar, divvy out some of those photos, but don't let history just disappear like a fart in an elevator. Okay. I totally recommend, that you encourage yourself to get into photography, because photography, okay, like music, also like surfing, is one of those things that you can do and probably prefer to do alone. So get yourself a hobby today and capture history through the lens. That's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz. This is a little bit different, but respect to Hugh McHugh, Hugh F McHugh. And thank you for your service, young man, because we all give service in a different way. Right. Subscribe to the channel, and I might be subscribing to you next. See you guys. Take it easy.